started doing this a while ago with the New York City Department of Ed, and I was doing some talks. And you know, I have my evaluation bag, and I don't know why I didn't pull this picture out before. This picture is a picture I've used for almost 20 years in every evaluation that I've done, from preschool all the way up through high school. It's crazy, right? And I didn't pull it out. So I pulled it out of my bag, and you can see, I mean, the plastic covering that I had it in had gotten yellowed and cracked. That's how bad it was. But I use it. It's from the back cover of a New York Times, and it's of Life magazine, from probably the 50s maybe. New York subway rider leaves a footnote to a fast exit. So what I do is I ask the following questions, and I ask them of every level of kid that I evaluate, and I ask them of typically developing kids from the children's same speech community. One way I get typically developing kids is that there's a preschool near me, and I will ask the director to let me in and do the various tasks with them. And once they check me out, they let me in and just run with permission from the parents. Parents sign permission. And I just go in so I get better clinical judgment. The other thing I do is if I'm evaluating a child, often the sibling will be there, or siblings or cousins, and even if they're different ages, I'll give the same tasks to the sibling or the cousin or the friend who comes, because then I can start to see different variability within the same speech community. Okay, these are my questions. You can download this and put it in a plastic film, you know, plastic sheet protector, and use it. I encourage you. I find it very useful, and I'll show you some examples. So, Cate, what's my last name? Crowley, yes. Look at that dynamic assessment at work. Okay, so what I say is, what happened? How did that happen? Did this ever happen to you? So, and what would you do if this happened to you? So what happened? Sometimes they don't see what's going on. So I say, oh, look, you know, look, did you see that? What's that? Oh, it's a shoe, right? And they're in the subway, and I give them, or a train, wherever we're doing it. If we're in Staten Island, it's a train. Or Long Island, it's a train. How did this happen? Now, then they come up with some academic, just some ways of describing what happened, showing me their problem-solving skills, their cognition. Did this ever happen to you? What I love about this, sometimes you get a great personal narrative. And if you can get a personal narrative for a 3 or 4-year-old, you're in heaven at a preschool level. And what would you do if this happened to you? Again, problem-solving skills, making inferences about what they could do to resolve this situation. So now we're going to see a video of a little girl who's going to tell us about the story of, who's going to show you what she says based response to these questions. I'm going to show you this picture, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Are you ready? What happened here?
It's broke.
What's broken? What happened there? What, do you know what that is?
Yeah.
What is that?
I don't know.
It's somebody's shoe. What happened in the subway?
The shoe got stuck.
Yeah, and how did that happen? How did somebody's shoe get stuck in the subway?
Maybe accident. He did the door closed on him. And like got stuck with the shoe.
I think you're right. Did that ever happen to you? It did? What happened? Did your shoe got stuck or a bag got stuck? What happened?
A bag got stuck.
No way. One of your bags? Your mom's or your dad's? Whose bag?
Uma's.
And what happened?
Uma cried.
Oh my goodness!
And my daddy got it out.
Oh, how did he get it out?
With his arm. With his hands.
He just, show me how. Like you just grabbed it like that? Wow.
And he put it out.
Now let me ask you a question. What would you do if this happened to you?
I had to pull it out.
Excellent. Now let me ask you one more question. Why are these guys not doing anything? Why aren't they paying attention?
Because it's quiet.
Oh, it's very quiet. It's not screaming, huh? Help! Good. So as you can see, she tells this first, she's not really sure about me. Then she tells me this narrative. We pick out the narrative. We get a personal narrative. Something about her grandmother getting stuck and her father saving the day. It doesn't matter. It's such beautiful language that you get out of this one silly old picture. This is a typically developing child, this little girl. She's, I think she's 3. I may say it right in there. And then here's another boy. Here's a boy. Same thing. Love this child. He actually is a native Russian speaker, been exposed to English since September. I did this around February, so September, October, November, December, January, February, about 5 or 6 months of exposure to English. What I love is I tell him it's an old picture, and then he goes off on that, talking about the oldness of it. You get so much information about his cognitive skills, his interests. And so so I'm hoping that you try to take this picture and use it in your evaluations. In your evaluations and with typically developing kids you can get your hands on. I spent a year working in a Head Start in Corona, integrated Head Start. All these typically developing kids, I got to use all my little tasks with them, and that's where you learn clinical judgment.
And you like trains. Now, you have to have a good look at this picture. Do you ever take the subway?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a picture of an old subway, not a new one. It's a little different, right? And I'm going to ask you some questions to help me figure this one out. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So tell me, what happened?
It broke.
What do you mean?
It stopped working.
The train stopped working?
Yeah.
How come?
Because it came old. Train come. First they've been new because they've been built.
Yeah.
Then they get older and older and older.
You're right. This is a very old train, right? Yeah. Now let me ask you another thing. What happened here? What's this? What's going on there?
The door broke.
What happened to that shoe? How did that happen? That's a shoe.
Yes, and that shoe got hit by the doors.
How do you think that happened?
Because the doors closed when somebody was coming in or out.
Oh my gosh. Did that ever happen to you?
No.
How come? Oh, let me just ask you. What would you do if that happened to you?
I don't know.
Say your foot was stuck like that. That's your shoe. Say, pretend.
Yeah.
What would you do if that happened to you?
I don't know.
Let's think. Let's try to figure this one out. So say you go in the subway, or say it's not your foot, somebody else's foot. Say it's some daddy's foot that got stuck, not your daddy's foot. What would you do? What do you think that daddy would do?
He just has to get it out.
Yeah, how do you think he might do that? What would he do? It's a good thought. How would he get that shoe out? The foot out?
Maybe you have to call somebody.
Oh, that is so smart. I bet it would. Did you ever see anything like that ever happen on the subway?
No.
No, thank goodness. One time, you know what happened to me? My bag got stuck in the door.
Yes, and but one day, when I was on the subway, a bag was stuck on the subway, and then the doors slid open, and then the bag came in again, and then the doors closed again.
Yeah. I have a feeling that might happen here, or it might be that this is, remember you said it was an old subway?
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have that fancy door back then.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah.
But I know nobody got hurt.
No.
No. Okay, that's great. Thank you.